All right, listen up. This isn't just a story about a flight that almost became a disaster. This is something much bigger, something much scarier, and it affects every single one of us. You probably heard the news. A United Airlines flight, a huge Boeing Dreamliner, had its engine blow out right after it left the ground. Chaos on the cockpit, frantic calls for help, and a terrifying emergency landing. It sounds like a crazy, isolated event, right? But what you don't know, and what I'm going to spill the beans on at the very end of this video, is why this isn't some random bad luck. It's part of a much wider, deeply disturbing mess that could put all of us at risk. So stick around because you need to hear this. Let's go back to July 25. United Airlines Flight 108, a massive Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, was just starting its journey from Washington Dulles Airport, heading for Munich, Germany. It was supposed to be a regular flight. Just minutes after this monster plane lifted off, climbing to about 5,000 feet, that's less than a mile up, bang, disaster hit. The plane's left engine, one of its giant powerhouses, just quit, died, blew out. Can you even imagine that? You're just getting comfortable, maybe watching the clouds, and suddenly the pilots are screaming, "Mayday! Mayday!" over the radio. That's the top-level emergency call. It means we are in deep, deep trouble. Life and death. We need help now. But here's where the truly amazing skill of those pilots and the air traffic controllers, the folks on the ground who guide planes, really kicked in. They immediately started working together. The pilots were talking to the controllers the entire time, telling them exactly what was happening and what they needed to do to survive. Now, a plane taking off is super heavy with fuel, way heavier than it needs to be to land safely. So what do you do in an emergency? You dump fuel. It sounds nuts, I know, but they had to get lighter. So they flew that massive jet in huge circles over the countryside right outside Washington. They were just letting go of thousands of gallons of jet fuel to drop weight. The pilots even asked to stay at about 6,000 feet, which is a little over a mile high while they did this. Controllers were barking out directions, making sure they didn't hit any other planes in the super busy sky. This whole crazy ordeal went on for almost 3 hours. Think about that. Almost 3 hours in the air with a busted engine, pouring fuel out of the plane, and getting ready for a do-or-die landing. When all that fuel was finally gone, the pilots asked for a special landing system to guide them right onto runway 19 center. And after all that drama, the plane landed safely. But here's the wild part. The engine was so messed up, the plane couldn't even move on its own. It had to be towed off the runway, just like a broken down car. Right now, that Dreamliner is still sitting there at Washington Dulles Airport, getting checked out by investigators. The best news? Not a single person was hurt. Every single person on board, passengers and crew, walked away from that nightmare. Now, you might be thinking, okay, scary, but they handled it. Good job, pilots. And yeah, they did. They are heroes. But here's the really chilling part. This isn't just some random one-off accident. In fact, it's got a creepy, terrifying similarity to another major plane disaster that happened just a month before this one. I'm talking about the Air India Flight 171 crash in India. That flight was also a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, just like the United plane. It was going to London. And get this, its engine also failed just moments after takeoff. But that wasn't a mere miss. That was a full-blown nightmare. That plane crashed and around 260 people lost their lives. It was the first time that specific Dreamliner model had ever been in a fatal crash. When you look at these two events, one right after the other, it's not just a weird coincidence. This United Airlines scare, which ended with no injuries, could have easily been another disaster like the Air India crash. And it's raising super serious questions, not just about these specific flights, but about the company that builds these planes, Boeing. For the last few years, Boeing, which used to be the absolute best of American engineering, has been stumbling from one disaster to another. They've had huge problems with quality control and crazy production delays. This isn't just about little technical hiccups anymore. It's about something much, much deeper. The investigation into that awful Air India crash was super quick to point fingers trying to blame the pilots. But a lot of experts, including pilot groups, fought back hard. They said, Hold on a minute, that's way too fast. There might be a huge problem with the plane's main systems that could have shut down both engines. It made a lot of people raise their eyebrows and wonder if something was being hidden. And that brings us to the really uncomfortable truth. These incidents aren't random bad luck at all. They point to a massive problem inside Boeing itself, a totally broken company culture. It's a place where the main goal isn't always making the safest planes ever built. Nope. It's about protecting the company's name. And let's be totally honest, its bank account, no matter the human cost. It seems like they're always trying to bury the bad stuff. And when things go wrong, guess what? Accountability always ends up being someone else's problem. They try to quickly clear themselves of blame even when there's no clear proof. People who tried to speak up about safety issues, well, they faced terrible consequences. That creates a feeling that the company's problems go way deeper than just some bad wires or tired workers. The fact that the United Airlines flight landed safely is a huge shout out to the pilots' training and their incredible guts. But it's also a terrifying reminder. It's telling us that the real bad day here isn't just a part that breaks down. It's a company where money comes before telling the truth. And until that changes, every time you hear a mayday call from a Boeing cockpit, it's not just about an engine going quiet. It's a warning that too many powerful people are refusing to hear. That's the real mess we need to clean up, not just the planes themselves. This whole situation screams how important it is to be super vigilant and have a strong safety mindset in aviation. The successful landing of that United flight shows that highly trained pilots and clear talk with air traffic control can stop total chaos even when a huge piece of equipment breaks down. But it also shouts out that companies like Boeing need to really put safety and honesty first to get people to trust their planes again. This is all about making sure that every flight, every single time, puts your safety above absolutely everything else. If this video opened your eyes, smash that like button, hit that subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any vital info like this. Your safety matters, and being in the know is the first step. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.